There's been a lot of talk about our future, the flood, the new location, and new technology. It's now time for Library 3.0 to rise as a symbol of community pride and progress. Library 3.0 will build more than a building. It will build a new philosophy of service and engagement for our community. It will be a place to interact, a place to innovate, a place to inspire. Library 3.0, the campaign to build your new Cedar Rapids Public Library, is all coming together to help prepare young minds for the future.
I just can't imagine a progressive, moving ahead city that doesn't provide its citizens with a strong public library.
Clearly, it's an embodiment of our community's commitment to learning and, more importantly, commitment to lifelong learning. It's a place where people from all ages come and gather knowledge.
I think most people realize that a public library is more than just a place to go get books. It provides equal opportunities for everybody to get information and knowledge.
When the flood happened, everybody lost something, and certainly on different levels of scale. People lost their homes, people lost their businesses, and when I think about the library, I mean, we all lost when we lost our library.
Well, this library project is absolutely critical for Cedar Rapids. Any size community in America that has any hope of attracting the type of people that will make the community grow and prosper needs a library.
Libraries are just essential. They're vital to a community. We all grew up with libraries. Libraries provide free access to knowledge, regardless of whether you're rich or poor, regardless if you're young or old.
I think Cedar Rapids is a pretty amazing place to be because we have a long history of supporting culture and literacy. We do not shy away from supporting things that will help us grow as human beings.
Library 1.0 was the Carnegie Library. Library 2.0 was the 1985 flooded library. And Library 3.0 is the new vision for interaction, innovation, and inspiration for our community. With careful planning, support from the federal, state, and city governments, and from contributors like you, all the pieces are really coming together.
The library is a resource that's available to everybody in our community. And we're coming back from a major disaster, and what better way to mark that recovery than through a project that's available to everybody.
What I find intriguing about libraries, to me they are the most public of all public buildings. It's the one public building that really everybody will utilize. I think it's a critical component for any thriving community.
I believe that if we really are going to have a destination library, there's no better destination than this spot for that purpose. I'm sitting here in Green Square Park. The library will face north into the space that you see me today. Almost the entire structure of the library is a very transparent space. There's no place in this building that doesn't have a wonderful view. You have the art museum on one side of Green Square Park and the library together, and you get to face your history and face your future at the same time.
There are so many interesting pieces of this design, but some of the things that I think are most exciting are the interesting ways that we're able to weave in some Cedar Rapids history into the interior spaces. So, for example, the smokestacks from the Sinclair smokestack that recently was torn down, some of the bricks are being used as a veneer on an interior wall.
A library brings a community place to enjoy each other, to talk about books and ideas. There's a sense of pride that individuals have for their community when they know that they have a valuable building that is serving so many people in wonderful ways.
I think the thing that makes me the most excited is our ability to invest in the youngest minds in our community. Often what happens with libraries is that our services to children up until age 5 really lead our business, but we give them a very small space. Here we give them an appropriate amount of space for how much they drive what we do and how much of our heart goes into their work. And so we've got a children's area that's almost double what the library had to offer before.
Oftentimes we work with the community and we're trying to drag them into the future of library services. Bob Pasnick, the new director, is grabbing us and even dragging us further into the future. And because I think that when the new library is completed, it won't just be a new, a great new building, but I think the way that library services are offered in the community will be completely different.
The library is knowledge in a book or knowledge online, but it's also knowledge that comes out of our heads and our hearts that I think make it such a distinct place.
It's going to be like no other library in the country in terms of being a community gathering place.
The return on investment dollars is astounding. When you think about the fact that you build a library for 50 years or 100 years, the return on investment is amazing. Because a library is not just a gathering space, it's a gathering space that is open and accessible to all.
I think giving and supporting the Public Library 3.0 campaign is important for everyone in Cedar Rapids. I think a donation to this campaign is a donation to support the growth of Cedar Rapids. It's not just to support the library, it's to support an essential city function and one that really unifies the community.
It's a facility that will serve this community and the surrounding communities for decades, lifetimes, and so I think it's absolutely a great investment.
I think it's important to give to the campaign because it's something that we need, and we're going to have a new library. It's going to be very exciting and very beautiful and very efficient, and I think that everyone in the community can enjoy it.
I think investing in the library is probably one of the best investments in our community's future.
You see the youth there, you see the elderly there, you see all walks of life. And so when I think about that one thing you can give to, that there's something for everyone, it's your public library.
I think that the library is a soul, a reflection of the soul of a city. This is about bringing people together and sharing learning and exposing people to different kinds of literature and exposure to the arts. I think it's fabulous.
The library is essential to a community's well-being. I mean, it shows that you value education, and to a certain extent, a library represents a piece of your culture. And Cedar Rapids has always had a strong library system. It was devastated from the flood, and now we have a chance to not just recover from the flood, but recover and be better than what we were before.
As you've heard, everything is ready to come together for a new Cedar Rapids Public Library. A blueprint of success specifically designed for preparing young minds. A new vision for a library of tomorrow. And a community ready to be involved. All of the pieces are coming together in our community. The last piece is you. Please, make a contribution to build a new public library in Cedar Rapids. There are thousands of young minds waiting for you to make Library 3.0 a reality.